Last week I got the one aluminum boat, Crestliner, from the auction. This week, so they had 3 boats last week, I bought one. Then they had 3 trailers this week, I got one. I waited for the last trailer hoping it would be cheaper, and it was. So this aluminum trailer was $175. It's a float-on Pioneer Classic. It looks a little overkill for that aluminum trailer, but I'm assuming this was what that was. They both say U.S. Navy on it. So anyways, I'm using my old A-frame to lift the back end out. I'll strap it so it sits flat. And then I'm going to grab probably the boom for the forklift and grab the front and then pull this trailer out from underneath. It was missing the axle. Have no idea why it would be missing. I'm assuming some sort of damage, or just they used it for something else. So I found an axle on Facebook, shorter than it needs to be, or not as wide, but still a torsion axle, for $100. So I obviously picked that thing up, and my plan at this point is to use that axle, cut it in the center, and weld spacer in between. I have a bunch of tube. If I don't have one that fits over the current tube, then I'll go pick one up. But that way it'll be nice and solid, left to right. You can kind of tell they weren't using these runners. They have hardly any wear, but they were using the center, and they were using this little add-on piece, which worked pretty well. So I'm not sure exactly how I'll set it up for this boat. I'm pretty sure it's for one of these boats. All 3 Crestliners were the same, and the trailers were almost identical. So, hoping this will work out well. Hopefully, I got to order one more fender, and like this piece of C channel is missing from those 2 holes. Should be there, and that should be the center. Here's the axle holes. So anyways, that's where we're at the moment. Need to go put the boom on the forklift so I can grab the front and pull this thing out from underneath as soon as I level this out a little bit. But yeah, that's what I did. Hopefully this all works out for me. Alright, that side's up off the trailer. This side is up using the boom on the forklift off the trailer. I should be able to pull the Suburban straight out and clear the black trailer. On a side note, I don't know if you can see these 2 tracks. Because I left the forklift here and I haven't moved those motors yet, I had to get real close in between the Suburban and the rack to get the forklift out to go grab the boom lift to do that. That's the 14-foot Crestliner. That needs some work, but that's that. That should go with this trailer. See, no problems. Got it off without any damage to anything. I do need to grab something. Okay, so now I'm gonna use those 2 tall stands for the car lift to put underneath the back of this thing, and maybe one under the front, so it's work height. At least that's kind of the goal at the moment. But I think I'll go ahead and I'll lower. Actually, I'll go ahead and I'll toss one under the front now, so I don't have to rig this thing up again. So let's do that real quick. Alright, so this is that axle I picked up. Definitely not as wide as it needs to be. My goal is to cut it right here in the center. I need to add, I don't remember what the numbers is, but I need to add a piece in the center, which this is 1/4 inch thick wall, 2.5 inch outer. This is 3 inch outer, so it should slide inside depending upon how long this stuff is. If it stops here, I'll be fine. As long as I got between, I'd say 5 and 10 inches of sleeve work, I'd be happy with that. If I'm down to like only 2 inches before I hit the center of all this rubber shit and torsion bar, if I have an issue with that, then my next goal is I'll sleeve it with this and that, because that will fit in here and then this will fit in here. I don't want to monkey around with that too much. From what I'm reading, this should stop between 12 and 16 inches, which should put me at just enough. So it's either right there or it's right there, which should give me about 8 inches. If I got 8 inches, I'll drill a couple plug welds, or drill a couple holes, plug weld it so it gets here, and then I'll lap weld it here and there and get my space. 7 inches. So what was on it was 8 inches spacing. This looks like it's 6.5-ish, something in that range. So I'll have to drill a new hole, which doesn't bother me none. Big goal is I might even start out with a drill hole around here to kind of see where all this stuff ends. As long as I got space, let's call it, that's 16 inches. So as long as I got a clear opening here, then I'll go ahead and I'll cut it. Well, either way I'm gonna cut it, I think. That would be 7 inches. So as long as I got at least 7 inches that I can put that pipe in, I'll be happy. And then I'll mount it to the trailer. I'll have to do the math on where the wheel will set, because like I said, this was 8 inches and that one's 6.5. I guess we'll just figure it out. You see how, I don't know if you can see how, yeah you can. This part here is set back because the axle's going to probably ride. I wonder if that's the math. That last bolt, if that's where the center line of the wheel is, because that's where this one is. Not quite. Not quite, definitely not quite. But close. I might put that on there, on that first bolt, just to see if I kind of like where it sits. But this looks like the 10 degrees axle. I was kind of hoping for a 20 or something. That put me more here, give me a little bit more lift, but whatever. This was $100. So $100, I cut it, I weld it, I make it work, I'm happy with that. Put the wheel about. Now, I'll probably start with the first one and see how well that travels. I don't know, we'll have to see. Other than that, I was looking this thing over. This C-channel on the back is missing. So I need to find the 4x2 aluminum C-channel, drill a bunch of holes. I need to order one fender and lighting. Other than that, the whole thing looks in pretty good shape. The jack worked, I tested it. The other trailers had a more fixed land net. I don't know what they call it. Pintle hook, whatever. Um, 25,000 pounds. The trailer's rated for like 2,500, and they got a 25,000 pound hitch on it. That's funny. But you can get this thing set up in a 2-inch receiver hitch or 2-inch ball mount. So unbolt this, bolt the 2-inch thing on here, and we're done. I do actually have a pintle hitch, and I understand their style, but man, they make a bunch of noise. But I'm gonna switch that off the 2-inch ball, so it's the same as my other boat trailer. I think this rope is okay. It doesn't look too brittle. We'll see. Doesn't seem to be flaking a whole bunch off, but that's easy enough to switch. This thing works pretty well. So, I'm gonna take a break, grab that phone out of the sun before it freaking bakes. That's kind of stupid. And then I will get to work after lunch. So, all right then. Well, I got a little bit sidetracked today after I got this on the stands. I got all the wiring removed. Started working on the axle. I got the whatever this bracket cut off from the center. I ground, I guess, the front and this side, and I was flipping it over to do this side, and right there, that pinch point with, I'm going to show you. I'm pretty sure you can see that white spot right there. What's this? I'll show you the stills here in a second. But basically, I crushed and cut my finger, and for the most part, about a 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch of the front of my finger is now gone. Went to Kaiser. Had 4 stitches and x-rays because the guy thought it might be broken. It apparently isn't broken. I didn't think it was. So that's where I stopped. You can see that the axle hub is on that big steel like that. When I was flipping it, the weight of the axles, hub, whatever you want to call this part of it, had this coming down really fast. I didn't account for that. It came down real hard. I was probably still holding it something like that or whatever, and it just went bam, and I knew I had fucked up. So I went into the house, washed it out, which really hurt, and went to Kaiser. I have a beautiful wife that canceled her day of fun to help me out. Obviously did not shut this off. Oops, wrong button. Fan and lights are now off. So this is Labor Day weekend. I was planning on doing a bit more. I obviously will not be doing much more on this unless my nephew or somebody wants to help me out, which I know they're busy, so probably not. I was hoping to have this trailer portion part of the project done this weekend. So, anyways, I guess my only thing I would say is I regret not doing what I should have done. I should have had that axle on this forklift. I should have utilized this big ass A-frame to lift it up, so I'm not doing it by hand. I could have used this engine lift with an air-powered ram on it. I don't know if you can see it. I could have used that and had better luck. I could have had it on that table, which is a little bit more stout than just flopping around up there. I could have done it without that steel there. Actually, that was stupidly my plan, was to have this steel prop up this side like it's doing over there, so I could grind this. Because without this piece of steel here, this thing would flop and this would be facing forward because the weight wants to push it down. So if you can see, that would go down, that side right here would be facing up, and I couldn't grind that easily. So this was kind of my goal. I did not take into the account how much weight this was and how quick it would pull, and I obviously had my hand in a pinch point, which not a good idea. So that's where I'm at. It's Friday of Labor Day weekend. I had 4 days to work on this, and I have severely cut it down to probably not working on it. I guess just be careful out there, guys. Shit can change in a minute. I believe it goes, piss poor planning results in piss poor results. 4 stitches and a little chunk of the front of the finger is now missing. Like, subscribe, and comment.